Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Greetings to you and your civilization.
And you and yours as well.
Um, so I have been disassociating from the mass consensus for about 6 years.
Oh, all right.
And
You are going mad.
yeah, some people think so.
Yes. Well, remember, there are positive ways to go mad and negative ways to go mad. So it's all right to be a little bit crazy because there is a good crazy as well as a negative crazy. So as long as you are being the good crazy and going mad in a positive way, please keep going.
Yes, somebody said that it's no great achievement to be well adjusted to an insane society.
Yes.
Okay, so my first question is, I am very interested in your consciousness and the capabilities of your and your collective consciousness.
Yes.
What are the capabilities that we do not have that you have?
Well, you have the capabilities, it's just that you're not exercising them as fully as you could be yet.
Understood.
In a more conscious way. But in exercising those capabilities, one of the things that we express to some degree is what you're seeing right now. We have the capability of forming a vibrational harmonic lock with beings that are trained to harmonize with our frequency of consciousness so that we can use the idea of a biological translator to communicate these ideas to other civilizations such as yours. Our consciousness is also flexible enough to go up and down what you would consider to be the timeline. In other words, the conversation that you believe we are having now, I may not have had yet, or I may have had a long time ago. But my consciousness will know where to direct the conversation so that it is appearing to be a conversation that is occurring in your present.
Wow.
All right, that's one way to put it. So, also, in that we are now in our evolutionary stage becoming closer to non-physical beings, we also exhibit many of the qualities that you associate with non-physical spirits. We can communicate with the spirits that are non-physical and do so all the time.
Mm-hmm. So since we are all shifting
Yes.
timelines billions of times a second,
Yes.
how do you keep up with this? Like you must be perceiving multiple timelines and realities simultaneously because
Yes.
you're always there in my reality.
Yes. But there are many moments in between what appear to be your moments. And we can use those. So it's not actually simultaneous exactly, although on one level it is because everything exists all at once. But in terms of the way we express it, we are actually skipping moments with you, but they're so refined, so small, you don't notice it. And in between those moments, we can be talking to several other civilizations in their moments. Kind of like this.
Is that because we are moving at a much slower rate than you
It's
guys?
not that you're moving at a slower rate, it's that you're perceiving at a slower rate.
Mm-hmm.
We all move at the same rate.
So approximately how many simultaneous timelines and parallel realities do you perceive at once?
One at once, but it depends on what you mean by once.
But is it like spread out, like you can see the timeline as a panoramic
Yes, we can
picture?
do that if we wish. That's another ability we have, is to adjust our focus in such a way as to focus in on what you might consider to be a singular parallel reality, or spread our focus out to see a multitude of parallel realities simultaneously. We have given you the analogy of your film strip, yes?
Yes.
So you can either look at the idea of the movie on the screen, one frame at a time as it's projected, or you can be the projectionist and hold the film strip out and see all the frames at the same time. And you can go in between that.
But in reality, there are multiple
In what reality?
choices, multiple choices that we
Yes.
can create, and
Yes.
all of those choices exist at the same time, right?
They do, but you don't
So it's
necessarily,
not just
you
one.
don't necessarily, as your focus, take all the choices. Other versions of you do.
Yes. So it's not just one possibility. The film strip contains, in our reality, only one timeline.
No, it doesn't. Because you can actually cut it apart and edit it in any way you want. And then it can contain another timeline.
I know, but the finished product is...
If you want to freeze it that way, then yes, you say that's one timeline. But that timeline is composed of a number of frames, each of which is its own parallel reality.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Remember that a parallel reality has no movement in it. It's a frozen snapshot. It's a frozen idea. That's what we're referring to as a parallel reality.
Okay, so...
The idea of a multitude of parallel reality frames in a certain sequence is what you're referring to as a timeline.
Okay, got it. So when there is movement, that's a timeline.
Yes.
Parallel timeline.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
And you can compose that timeline out of any number of still frames in whatever is relevant for your particular journey.
Okay, great. My next question is, what is the advantages of a hybrid humanoid being as opposed to a purely mammalian being created by nature or God?
Well, it's not that we're not created by nature, but there are many ways to create things in nature. And some of the advantages are what we have just been talking about, aren't they? The ability to experience expanded awareness, a multitude of realities simultaneously, the idea of seeing more of existence and applying and experiencing more of all that is.
So is that your purpose for creating hybrid beings?
Well, I am a hybrid being.
But you're creating the 6th generation,
And so are all of you. We're creating it with you. Most of you just don't know it yet. Most of you don't remember that you're doing it, but you are. You're all participating in this. It's just that you've forgotten. But that's okay, because the fact that you have forgotten is actually used in a very special way. When you start remembering that you're actually participating in the 6th hybrid race creation, the rate at which you remember you've already had contact, the rate at which you remember that you're participating in that evolutionary agenda for your own world, as well as ours and others, is the rate at which we then know when you're ready for more conscious, open contact.
I am not remembering anything about creating a hybrid race. I am getting flashes of remembrances of a reality I used to exist in,
Yes.
where I was like a godlike being, where I could look into other realities
Yes.
at will and project my consciousness
Yes.
into several places.
Yes. Well, I'm not saying all of you are participating in the same way, but you're all participating.
So what are these flashes that I'm remembering?
You are beginning to remember more of yourself on a higher plane, a higher level.
Yes.
So the idea is
And it's
to apply that in your reality in whatever way is relevant for you. And the easiest way to do that is to act on your highest passion. Because that's what that vibration is all about, is helping you become your version in physical reality of what it is you're tapping into on a higher plane.
And is that the goal, to fully remember and come home, so to speak, or become
really.
that?
No, not really. I understand what you mean by that, but the goal is to experience it itself. Experience the process of it. The process is the point. The journey is the destination. So it doesn't really matter so much where you get to, because whenever you get there, there will always be another place to go to. So in that sense, that goal never really ends.
So
It's always about the journey. It's always about the experience. It's always about the process.
so I am not remembering the end goal. I am remembering a point in the process
Yes.
later on.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Does that help you?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Well, then pleasant dreams to you.
I have more questions.
Nope.
No.
Time to allow someone else to interact. And besides which, others will also answer some of your questions. It's not necessarily our job to answer them all because it is more appropriate for your own guides or other beings to interact with you in other ways.